I used to sit in the stylist chair and just nod along, agreeing to whatever cut she suggested, because I didn't know enough to ask for anything different. That ends today. There are 3 haircuts changing the way women over 70 are seen right now, and almost nobody's talking about them the right way. Not the tired layered bob everyone defaults to. Not the safe trim you've had for a decade. 3 specific cuts, each solving a different problem your hair develops after 70, thinning at the crown, flattening at the sides, losing shape by the second week. I researched the best haircuts and the biggest styling mistakes for women over 50 so you get real, usable answers, not vague inspiration. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every single week. Part 1. The cut that rebuilds a crown losing its shape. Here's something most stylists won't say out loud. Past 70, hair doesn't just get thinner, it gets lazier. The follicles that used to stand hair up straight at the crown lose their angle, so even freshly washed hair lies flat within an hour. You felt this. You style it in the morning, it looks full, and by lunch the top of your head looks like it gave up. That's not a washing problem or a product problem. That's a cut problem, and almost nobody explains it that way. The fix is called a root-lifted crown cut, and it's built around one specific technique: point-cutting short internal layers directly at the crown, angled upward instead of straight down. Most stylists cut layers that fall with gravity. This cut fights gravity on purpose. The internal layers are cut shorter than the surface hair around them, so they physically can't lie flat. They have nowhere to go but up and out, creating lift from the root without a single drop of volumizing spray. Ask for it exactly like this. I'd like short internal layers cut at the crown, angled upward, blended into longer layers around the perimeter. Not a all-over layered cut, just lift built into the crown itself. That phrasing matters because a generic "add some layers" request often gets you thinning shears through the whole head, which makes fine hair look wispy instead of full. Here's the part that actually changes how you're seen. When your crown holds shape through the day instead of collapsing by noon, people stop unconsciously reading you as tired. That flattened crown look reads as fatigue even when you feel completely fine. It's one of the fastest visual cues for worn down that exists. Lift that crown and hold it, and the read flips entirely. Rosalind, a woman in one of my comment sections, told me she'd spent 4 years assuming her hair was simply done, thinning past the point of help. One root-lifted cut later, she said her hairdresser actually gasped and asked why she'd waited so long. It wasn't more hair. It was hair finally cut to work with what she had left, instead of against it. There's a second layer to this fix most people skip: the part line. A crown cut with lift still fails if you part your hair in the exact same spot every single day, because the weight of styling in one direction eventually trains the hair to fall that way regardless of how it's cut. Every few days, shift your part slightly. Even half an inch makes a real difference. It gives the lifted layers a fresh angle to stand against instead of fighting the same worn groove in your part every morning. Combine the cut with this simple habit, and the crown holds shape for 2 to 3 days longer than it would otherwise, which for most women over 70 means the difference between restyling daily and restyling every other day. Picture the exact swap here. Before, flat, compressed crown hair that reads as tired by early afternoon no matter how carefully you style it that morning. After, root-lifted internal layers holding real shape and volume from the moment you leave the salon until you go to bed. It's a completely different first impression, and it took one specific conversation with your stylist to get there. But the crown isn't the only place your hair quietly betrays you. There's a second spot most women over 70 never think to cut differently, and it's working against you every time you turn your head. Part 2. The side panels nobody cuts right. If your hair looks great in the mirror straight on but strange from the side, this is why. Most cuts are designed and checked from a front-facing mirror, but nobody actually experiences your hair from straight ahead. They see you from the side, at an angle, across a table, in a car. Past 70, the sides of the head are usually where hair thins fastest and earliest, well before the crown or the back catches up. And yet almost every haircut treats the sides as an afterthought, blended in with whatever's happening at the back instead of shaped on their own terms. The fix is a face-framing side panel cut, and the mechanism is different from the crown fix. This isn't about lift, it's about strategic weight distribution. The stylist cuts the side panels slightly shorter and slightly heavier than the rest of the cut, so they curve inward toward the jaw instead of hanging straight down flat against thinning temple hair. That inward curve does two things at once. It visually adds density exactly where hair is thinnest, and it draws the eye toward the jawline and cheekbone instead of toward the scalp showing through at the temple. Say this at your next appointment. Can you cut the side panels a bit shorter and heavier than the rest, so they curve in toward my jaw instead of falling straight down? I want extra weight specifically at the temples. That last sentence is the one most women skip, and it's the one that actually gets the fix done correctly. Here's the snapback moment that makes this worth doing. Thin temple hair lying flat against the scalp is one of the fastest ways a face reads as older than it is, because it exposes bone structure at exactly the point where the eye naturally lands first, the temple to cheekbone line. Add weight and inward curve there, and that same bone structure reads as defined and elegant instead of hollow. It's the same face. It's the same age. It's just no longer being undermined by hair that's working against it instead of for it. Colette wrote to me after trying this and said something that stuck with me. She'd always assumed the hollow look near her temples was just her face now. Something age had simply done to her, and there was nothing to be done about it. It wasn't her face. It was hair lying flat exactly where it needed weight instead. One cut later, she said friends started commenting that she looked rested, which made her laugh because nothing else about her life had changed that week. Just the hair around her face. There's a small maintenance detail that keeps this cut working past the first 2 weeks. Ask your stylist to check the side panels every 6 to 8 weeks rather than waiting for a full haircut cycle. The inward curve depends on precise length, and even a 1/4 inch of extra growth at the temple can flatten the effect before the rest of your hair needs trimming at all. Most women don't realize a cut can need a touch-up schedule different from the rest of the head, but for this specific fix, it genuinely does. So before, flat temple hair exposing the hollow above the cheekbone, quietly aging the whole face without you ever touching your skin or makeup. After, a shorter weighted side panel curving in toward the jaw, softening that same bone structure into something that reads as rested and defined. 2 down. But there's a third cut, and it's the one that solves the problem women over 70 complain about more than any other. Hair that looks perfect for exactly 1 day and then falls apart. Part 3. The shape that survives more than 1 day. Most women over 70 don't actually have a bad haircut. They have a good haircut that only works on day 1. It looks exactly right leaving the salon, and by day 3 it's collapsed into something shapeless that needs a full restyle from scratch. That's not because your hair is difficult. It's because the cut itself was never built with day 3 durability in mind. Most cuts are designed to look good under a blow dryer in a salon chair, not to hold shape through sleep, humidity, and a hat on a windy day. The fix is a graduated bob with a slight inward curve at the perimeter, not a blunt cut bob, which is the version most women picture and the version that fails fastest. A blunt cut relies entirely on every single hair ending at the exact same length to hold its shape, so the moment even a few strands shift, the whole line looks broken. A graduated bob is cut with the underneath layers slightly shorter than the outer layers, building the shape from the inside out instead of relying on one perfect line. That internal structure is what survives a pillow, a humid afternoon, and a hat, because the shape isn't dependent on every hair being identical. It's built into the cut itself. Ask for it this way. I want a graduated bob, shorter layers underneath, longer on top, with a slight inward curve at the ends, not a completely blunt line. That distinction between graduated and blunt is the whole difference between a cut that lasts and one that doesn't. Here's the outcome that actually matters day to day. With internal graduation built in, this cut typically holds recognizable shape for 4 to 5 days with nothing more than finger styling in the morning. No full reset with hot tools, no starting from scratch. That's the real value here. It's not about how the cut looks the moment you leave the chair. It's about whether you can wake up on day 4, run your fingers through it, and still look like yourself. Diane told me she used to book a wash and style every single week, not because she needed a haircut that often, but because her old blunt bob simply stopped looking intentional after 2 or 3 days, and she didn't know what else to do about it. She switched to a graduated version of the same length and said the strangest part was how little actually changed about her routine. She still just ran her fingers through it in the morning. The difference was that on day 4, it still looked like a haircut instead of a memory of one. One more detail worth knowing. This cut actually looks slightly imperfect on day 1, softer and less finished than a blunt line fresh out of the salon. Don't panic if it looks less dramatic walking out the door. That softness is exactly what allows it to hold shape as the days go on. And by day 2 it settles into the version that actually lasts. A lot of women make the mistake of asking their stylist to sharpen it up, right there in the chair, which undoes the very structure that makes the cut durable in the first place. So here's the swap. Before, a blunt bob that looks sharp for exactly one day and then quietly falls apart, forcing a weekly reset just to look put together. After, a graduated bob built to hold real shape for 4 to 5 days on nothing but your own 2 hands. 3 cuts down. But knowing the right cut means nothing if you're using the wrong products underneath it. And there's one habit almost every woman over 70 has that's quietly undoing all 3 of these fixes at once. Part 4. The habit undoing all 3 cuts. Here's something that surprised me when I first started researching this. The single biggest reason a great haircut stops working isn't the cut itself, it's what happens to it every single night. Most women brush their hair before bed out of habit, the same way they've done since childhood. And that one small ritual is quietly working against every cut described in this video. Brushing at night, especially with a standard bristle brush, roughs up the outer layer of each strand and strips whatever shape the cut was holding. So you wake up needing to rebuild the style from nothing, every single morning. The fix is switching your nighttime routine to a loose braid or twist secured with a soft silk or satin scrunchie. Never a standard elastic. This works on 2 levels at once. First, the loose braid keeps each section of hair from rubbing against itself and against your pillow all night, which is what actually causes the flattening and frizz you wake up to. Second, silk and satin create far less friction against the hair shaft than cotton pillowcases or standard hair ties, so the cut shape, whether that's the lifted crown, the curved side panel, or the graduated bob, survives the night intact instead of needing to be rebuilt from scratch. Ask for exactly this at home. Loosely braid or twist the hair before bed, secure it with a silk scrunchie, and sleep on a silk or satin pillowcase if you can manage it. None of this requires new products or another salon visit. It's a 5-minute habit shift. Here's the part that makes this worth doing tonight. Women who make this one switch typically report their morning styling time cut roughly in half, because the cut is still mostly intact when they wake up instead of collapsed and tangled. That means less time with hot tools, less repeated heat damage, and a haircut that actually earns back the money spent on it. Because a great cut ruined by a rough pillowcase every night was never getting a fair chance to work in the first place. Marguerite told me she'd blamed her stylist for years, convinced every cut she got just didn't hold, the way other women's hair seemed to. She switched pillowcases and started loosely braiding before bed. And within a week she said she genuinely couldn't believe the difference. Same haircut, same stylist, completely different mornings. It wasn't the cut. It was never the cut. It was a cotton pillowcase and a habit she'd never once thought to question. One last thing worth knowing. This habit matters even more for the 2 cuts that rely on internal structure, the root-lifted crown and the graduated bob, because both depend on layers holding their exact shape rather than one blunt line doing the work. Rough overnight friction undoes that internal shaping faster than almost anything else you could do to your hair. Protect the shape at night, and every fix in this video compounds instead of resetting every 24 hours. So there it is, before. Waking up to flattened, frizzed hair that undoes a perfectly good cut every single morning. After, a 5-minute nighttime habit that lets the crown lift, the side panels curve, and the graduated bob hold shape for days instead of hours. 4 fixes, 1 hair story, and a completely different way people read you walking into a room. So now you know the 3 cuts actually built for hair over 70. The root-lifted crown that fights gravity instead of losing to it, the side panel that curves in to soften your temples, and the graduated bob that survives more than one single day, plus the nighttime habit that lets all 3 actually hold. That's not luck. That's just finally knowing what to ask for in the chair. Tell me in the comments, which of these 3 cuts sounds most like the fix your hair's been waiting for? Next week I'm breaking down the exact questions to ask before any color appointment after 70, so you never leave the salon disappointed again. like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.